Alright, we are back with the new week of D20 Brigade. 4 out of the 5 of us are actually here. And so, given that Dan was not here last week, we're going to kind of start with him. Dan, you end up waking up in a small house right near the docks. A family there gave you rest for the night.
I remember what happened the previous night.
You do remember what happened the previous night. You ended up using a lot of time saving civilians at the harbor as a few ships had gotten into a small conflict right near the shoreline.
Always important to make sure you remember why you're waking up in a strange house.
Yes, it's true. This is true. On top of that, after a massive battle, you heard the battle from the top of the tower. You knew your friends were there, and at that point, you weren't necessarily needed up there, and you did a good job.
Hey, a dragon! I'm gonna sit here and save people. She could eat them.
Right. That was really the whole thing. Is you managed to see at the end of that battle a dragon flying from the tower, and you know that it was Relea. So waking up from the house, you walk outside, and the docks are... There's one dock left out of the entire harbor. And in it is the ship that you recognize as the ship that's supposed to take you northward. It's not exactly fully intact, but it's close. It does need some repairs. And you see that the ship is absolutely massive.
Is someone familiar?
Huh?
Is someone familiar?
You summoned? You're familiar since I'm successful. So, as you start to go towards the docks, a guard comes up to you and looks. The guard looks at you and says, Councilman Adrian Veit has summoned you to sort of convene with your colleagues in the tower.
Oh, I suppose. Fine. Take me away, copper. I was going to say that. Never appreciate it. Thank you for having a sense of humor.
He sort of leads you to the tower, opens the door, and the rest of us, and points upstairs and points to the elevator in the middle of the tower. You step in and it takes you, and the rest of us are standing there with Austin and Adrian kind of side by side. Adrian is wearing a more regal set of robes. In fact, Amaridia, you recognize them as the same robes, or the same style of robes, that when we passed High Councilman Ramul's body last night after he was thrown off the tower, it was the same style of robes he was wearing.
Okay.
So you can tell he's kind of inherited this city. And he looks at everyone and sort of grimly smiles for a second for saying, "You all have done our society a great service."
So, we do what we can. I see I'm kind of walking towards kind of pointing.
I just got him with lies.
Because of this, the council has voted. Your war will happen.
So we just fought a war to fight a war.
You fought a war to then get a vote for another war. Yes, you did.
We're bloodthirsty.
You really are.
I think the accepted term is further hope.
So, here is what will happen. Since Austin is already taking you north, his ship is currently being repaired in the harbor. It will take about a day. With the ship being repaired and with him taking you north, we're going to send an emissary with you, who's going to have knowledge of our plans. They will meet with the dwarves, who will undoubtedly have some kind of task for you to gain their support, but it should be simple enough. If not just outright buy them, they're dwarves. Bastards doesn't care about this money.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, I wish to give every one of you a token of appreciation. Zarson, please step forward.
I check for traps. I step forward.
You find 0 traps.
Excellent.
But as you step forward, fireworks start shooting out of the sides of the tower.
Told you it was a trap.
Pretty good at the trap.
No, none of that actually happens. He reaches, he turns around on the table behind him and grasps a large leather tome and hands it to you. Because this is an original copy, one of only 3 that we have found, of the Tome of El-Kelek. We have made a couple additions to this. In the start of it, you will find a dictionary, if you will, of ancient Elvish. And within its bindings, a few more surprises and bits of our history. I figured you may want to gain an appreciation for the book you almost tried to burn last night.
What? You were using it as an excuse to kill a bunch of people. You gotta have a better excuse than one book to kill a bunch of people. Unless it's a really big book. I know a guy.
2 books.
You gotta have at least 1 testament before you start doing that.
I think this book has the weight of that. Lillian,
We are
please.
bloodthirsty.
Please step forward, accept yours as well. And he turns around again, but this time turning around with a much smaller book.
The Elven Kama Sutra.
Ah,
I said Lillian, not Emeridia.
Oh, bad.
Yeah. I'm wondering what's gonna happen in the dwarf town.
Beard play.
He hands you the book and says, "Before I tell you what this book actually was, I will tell you where we found it first. In the aftermath of the last few hours after the battle and after everyone went to bed, our soldiers went back to your father's house. And in going through his study, they found a small, hidden box that had been kind of locked away. Not all of it is readable. It's been faded over time. But from what we can actually trace back in the small time our scholars have actually had, this book is the diary of a man named Kellogg Delane. He is your great-great-great-grandfather and was the last sorcerer in your line. In fact, he was the one, if we remember correctly, who fought in the war against the Tizlanus last time. You still there, Dan?
No.
Nope.
No, he is not. Things are going wrong.
Oh yeah, I poisoned her. That's what I was doing.
He says to you that this, I have not opened it, I have not read it. I will say that it is for you. And for you alone.
Lillian just kind of nods and mumbles a thank you and takes the small book.
He then calls forward Thea and Danthelaine, who step forward as well. And he reaches onto the wall. He reaches onto one of the pillars and takes 2 stabs off the off the pillars. He says, "These staves are mates of each other, made from trees whose roots were wrapped around each other until just recently, in which the trees had died. Gwen Helene and Gwen Halarn. They are to symbolize power and strength in the bonds of friendship and love. May you use them wisely through your travels." At which point, then he calls Relea over and tells her, "To be perfectly honest, we couldn't figure out what best to give a dragon besides gold. So we sent a shipment north into a tunnel that we sort of figured out from your contacts to put gold in that room underneath your inn. So I guess you get gold. Sorry, we had nothing else for you." Emeridia, however, please step forward.
Okay, so.
At which point he then reaches around his neck and takes off a necklace. The necklace is a white arrowhead, a couple strings wrapped around it, with the seal of the 3 elven tribes stamped into it. And he says to you, "This is the amulet of the ranger. 2 things have been deep-seated in our history. The Druidic Society, the magic of the Druidic people, and our knowledge of the forest." Ah, we have a Dan back.
No.
I didn't know what happened. I thought maybe it was my connection.
Skype exploded.
Ah.
These things apparently happen.
Yeah, a little bit. And on top of this, we know that your mother is living in Dolinar. Is that correct? With your brothers and sisters? We officially extend citizenship of the Elven people to you. No longer are you without a home. There's nothing more we can give you than that, because I don't know what else would be meaningful in terms of our history. And all we have of the orcs' history has been destroyed for the most part. So for that, you can call these people your own as well, if you so desire.
I give a quiet thank you and step back, just running my fingers over the arrowhead.
Now, the repairs, Austin tells me, should be done in the next hour or so. We have about 5 different crews working on the ship, so it should be very quick. Make sure all of your things are taken care of, and meet Austin on the decks on the dock in about an hour, and you'll be able to head north. Good luck in your quest, and may you be safe. He dismisses all of us from the top of this tower, and you have 1 hour. So basically, you have time to do kind of one small thing before you leave. What does everyone decide to do? We'll just go down. We'll go reverse order. Simona first. What do you decide to do?
write off a letter to my mom.
Okay. Tiffany, what does Liliana decide to do in the 1 hour she has? You time to do one small thing.
I'm assuming there's some sort of maybe I don't know. Is there like some sort of like potion shop or something?
As you go down to the ground floor, to the ground level of the tower, and you walk outside and down the bridge back to the major massive tree in the middle. Excuse me. You see a number of shops. Some are selling clothes and books, and others are selling potions. You see a number of different shops around you.
I want to go and buy some health potions because I need those.
I probably do. You start to look around. You see actually 3 shops, kind of in the same block of shops around this tree, and 1 small cart. Each of the shops has a similarly ornated sign. There's nothing like special about any of those shops, really at all. And you choose one of them just at random and walk in, and you get greeted with a warm greeting. It says, "Well, hello. What exactly are you looking for here?"
Thank you. I was wondering if there's anything that you maybe had in stock for healing purposes.
Yeah, I have a number of these actually. I'm gonna be honest. This is sort of my selection of what I have made so far, and he points you to a table of cauldrons, small cauldrons that are they're being able to along the table. It says this one here is sort of a really light one. This one's a medium-ish. It has you might feel it a little bit, but if you're really hurting, you might want to take that one. That one though, strong as an ox. Yeah, ow. If I have to take that one, I'm already dead.
Steven? Possible to drown to death in a cauldron full of healing potion?
Technically, yeah. I don't know. That is a wonderful question.
I don't actually need an answer. I'm just curious because it just occurred to me.
It's a wonderful question. Like, if it could happen in D&D.
The system, you start taking damage.
I mean, there is a technical thing that's too much of a good thing. So it is, I guess it is possible.
I got glue on my finger now. Damn it. What are the price-wise on them? She asked him.
50 of healing potions. How much do I have to drink of this to kill me?
Well, I mean, one bottle, like one small satchel of the light one there, roughly about 100 gold for about a satchel of 4. The cauldron in the middle of the moderate one, that one's going to cost you for 2 about 350, 400.
I'll just take a couple of the light ones, and she places. She gives the guy. Person.
It's a guy. Yeah.
100 gold.
He takes some small tubes out of a small bag and starts filling up out of the cauldron, and he gives the 2 sort of saddle pouches full of 6 potions each to you, and says, "All right. Is there anything else? I mean, I do have, for instance, like," he looks over, he starts going over. In fact, hold on 1 second. I'm going to make him do something.
So, I'd like to buy 8 vials of healing potion and 10 vials of whiskey. I've started 2 revolutions and nearly burned out a city this month. I need to go get not sober.
In fact, you know what? Roll a, Oh, let me open up. I'm trying to figure out what stat I want to use for this. I'm not entirely sure how I want to make this roll. I could do like 1 of 4 different stats. Come on, I wish PC
Preferably the one that's better for me.
Well, I know preferably the one that's better for you, but at the same time, could go any way possible. And hey, I don't want to have accidentally running off the side of a building.
Playing it cautious this time, Steven?
A little bit, yeah. I can't really remember something that corner. Anyway, make a disguise check, I guess is the way I would run this one. So it's going to be roll plus your charisma modifier plus everything in disguise.
Okay.
Because you're trying to disguise something else.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he just asked you, are you sure you want something? Are you want anything else? I mean, I got loads of other potions you can. I mean, I have there. You know, I'm sure if you were to ask me about a few more, you have some ideas. I could definitely give you a short list of what I have. Like for instance, right over here is a wonderful little concoction. Makes you move a lot faster. In fact, from what I've tested kind of with certain people, if you're in combat, it helps you make another attack. Kind of almost the same speed as your current one.
And how much is that?
One will run about 700 gold, 750 gold. But I mean, it lasts for about probably 10-15 minutes. That's enough to almost take down a small army if you're strong enough.
She kind of thinks it over for a moment, and then she kind of thinks of everything she's encountered, and she's like, fuck, okay.
Great!
Sure, I'll take that too.
Great! And he pours you off. He reaches into he pours the lid off the cauldron, and when he does this, you see a bit of orange bubble, but slightly glowing a bit. And it's this bright, wonderful glow. And you see lightning kind of zip off a little bit from it as well.
That all sounds terrifying.
And he takes a larger sort of bulbous vial from his pouch and fills it up. And he goes, "Okay, hopefully you enjoyed your experience here at Tristan's potion supply. Be sure to come back again. Add to your inventory 12 Cure Light Wounds potions. They're small, and 1 potion of haste.
Okay.
If you want more in potion of haste, it's 1 round per level, and it can target 1 creature per level, no 2 of which can be more than 30 feet apart. You can make yourself move quickly, and you also get a +1 bonus on attack rolls and dodge rolls to AC and reflex saves. And any condition that will make you lose your dexterity bonus or armor class will make you lose that as well. So Zarson, you have time to do 1 thing before you leave. What is it you decide to do?
said, I have started 2 revolutions, almost burned down 1 city, and saved, I forgot to count how many people last night from a fiery death. I'm going to go buy all of the whiskey. Wake me up when it's time to go.
You managed to do all of this. You managed to buy, since you decided to buy all the whiskey. As you get
It's
to,
not all whiskey. Make it a double size for a large creature if you get my drift.
okay, I was gonna have you show up to the dock with like 800 kegs of whiskey and try and fit it on the ship, but
Not literally all of it.
well,
That would be silly.
I'll help drink it.
I'm sure you would. You manage to walk into a tavern in the same area, and you take your double shot of whiskey. Since you're taking a double shot for a large creature.
Size up head.
Can your character get drunk?
Probably.
Make a fortitude save for that. Actually, then.
What were we then? 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I don't have my character sheet in front of me. Give me 1 moment.
Yeah, level 8. In fact, actually, what kind of whiskey are you? Oh, actually, no. We're gonna use a stone whiskey here. You walk into this bar and you sit down. You sort of, the bartender sort of looks at you, says, "Ah, the savior from last night," and he hands you this glass that's, you know, for a large creature, kind of normal size, double shot. Huh?
Does it come in pints?
Oh, he hands you a large pint. Yes, make a fortitude save.
Loading. Loading.
Before he does this, you're one of the heroes from last night, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm hero. I was there.
You saved
set something on fire.
You saved a bunch of people, though, correct?
Yes, but I almost setting something on fire.
Okay. Do you have anywhere you need to be?
A ship in an hour.
I don't advise this, my friend.
Someone else is doing the same thing.
Okay. You managed to become intoxicated.
Yep.
You kind of...
Make a theater moment. Roll the dice to see if I'm getting drunk.
As you manage to make your way out of the bar, you're intoxicated. Things are a little bit fuzzy. And everyone manages to gather at the docks. You can see that the ship, again, is a huge version. It's actually, if you know your ships, it's a extra large size carrack vessel. It's much larger than that. But it's about the same style. And they're loading. You see them loading the doom wagon into the side of the ship.
Excellent.
At which point Dan playing questions. Why are they? I'm not gonna ask. Sarson, it's your wagon. I'm gonna just let this one go, I guess.
Look, it's our job to bring entertainment back to the people. Possibly that will save them from certain death. We'll start with entertainment. It's easier.
Just don't set them on fire with your guitar.
Wagon safe.
Austin then gets on the dock. Well, all aboard then. It's time to get moving. Our cover should be out there somewhere. And he moves on to the ship, and I'm guessing all of us do follow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Two flagon.
As we're walking, he tells us,
How badly is he taught her?
he didn't miserably fail, he's just slightly slurred.
Okay. So I don't have to pick him up and carry him.
No, he is not walking a straight line. You do notice that.
I keep an eye on him so he doesn't fall in the ocean.
Oh, me?
Because that'd be a pain.
I'm curling up in a two wagon. I'm just stay here. Telling you, that's where we're going.
As we walk, Austin talks to us, it's gonna be about 9 days till we get there. So your friend might have the right idea. And he gets into the ship, and all the repairs have been completed. All the crews are kind of proud of it. Although everyone make a spot check really fast.
Spot.
Dan, you're gonna not use your modifier because you are drunk.
I can see at least twice as many of it, right?
Huh?
I can see at least twice as many of it, right?
Oh.
Lillian, at least you can see
Okay.
the dock.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
let's
I
do
see everything.
I didn't see you roll.
My roll's just above Lillian.
Oh no, I thought I said I didn't see Dan roll.
Oh, Dan.
Do you just want a D20, or do you want me to add like my whiz modifier?
No, you're not using your modifier at all, just the D20.
10. Dead average.
Simona, you and I see at one point, as we're getting on the ship, and we look to the left, just above the water line a little bit is a strip of tape.
Tape?
Tape. Tape and,
Like you glitching really bad. What did you say?
tape and a little bit of hay.
Why is there tape and hay? Are we feeding some kind of water horse?
No, more like probably they didn't try and fix they tried to fix the ship in a hurry.
Oh, fuck.
You don't notice anything. You're just lucky to see your own feet.
I know I don't notice anything, but that still fact remains, oh fuck.
Austin here just says, no, it's fine. Actually, we're stopping soon enough to get that fixed. They just didn't have the proper equipment here. Just needs a bit of mud and plaster. It'll be fine.
I'm sorry, get what fixed? Lillian kind of butts in.
It's okay, don't worry about it. And he walks up to the top of the...
Yes, dismiss her.
Lillian looks at the rest of the party. What should I not be worrying about?
If he
Everything.
if he says it's fine, it's fine. So we start setting off from this. And within the first day, we actually we stop at a small area right between Dolinar and Solinar, and they managed to patch up a small section of the hull that was not able to be fixed in the city. The tape is gone.
I'm still just like tape. Is it duct tape?
Yes, it's
An
duct
elven
tape.
equivalent to duct tape.
It was an elven equivalent to duct tape, yes. How many of you attempt to actually help out on the ship?
Me!
Every time you attempt to help, you're told no, that you are guests of the ship, that you have free time to do whatever it is that you will. Because of what you've done for the city. Zarson, your first day was spent curling over in the Doom Wagon because of the whiskey. Your second day, what do you choose to do?
Use as many cure light wound spells as it takes to cure a hangover.
You successfully managed to do that within the first about hour. So you have the rest of the day to kind of do what you please. You do have the book that reminded you of that.
The book with the power.
Do you study the opening? Do you study the sort of dictionary first of the book to sort of learn the language? Sorry?
Can I read the rest of it with the history?
You can read the history, actually. Most of the history is redone in normal Elvish.
Excellent. I start with the history and the laws, as they'll give me better context for learning the language.
Okay, so the first part, actually, pick a number between 1 and 11, or you just decide to go straight through?
Just straight through. Start at the top. Go from there.
Okay, you actually don't get to the laws for a little bit. The first thing you read is titled The Awakening, in which you read the story of the original elves waking up in the middle around a tree, sunlight beating down on them, and their eyes just open. And you can tell these are the original elves that started the city of the foundation of the civilization.
Hey, Steven, you're breaking up really bad. I don't know if it's just me or for everybody else as well.
Not just you.
Okay, it's just me then.
No, not just you.
Oh.
He's breaking up for me too.
Well, she's breaking up for me. I don't know. Skype is going nuts. I have perfect call quality, so I don't know what's going on.
I don't know, but I can see and hear everyone clearly except you. So it might be your problem.
I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to restart the call real quick. Hold on. Yeah, the sun's beating down on them. It's basically the start of the Elven civilization. It's sort of.
We wake up under a tree one day like, that was a hell of a party. Let's make civilization. I've heard worse origin stories.
They just suddenly their eyes just open. They can't, it's their first time they ever opened any eyes. The second story you get to is
Fantastic Four style.
Huh?
Could have been worse. Could have done it Fantastic Four style. They'd have had like 4 civilizations by now. None of them would work out.
True. The second one, you do actually get to some of the laws.
You glitch.
Then I don't know.
You glitch.
I can. Am I better?
No.
Or
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me. In the second section, you actually, by the way, Dan, read some of the laws of this. The second section that you read is called "The Rise of Sol Paleth." The laws you kind of learn involve everything from petty theft to murder, in a way.
how many of these have the death penalty?
Really only murder, because rape had not really been heard of yet. Marriage hadn't been there. I mean, sex, for instance, happened, but yeah. So like, murder is the only one that has a death penalty to it.
You kill someone, you die.
Penalty in the entire book, and they're really eager to just off themselves and everyone else.
Huh? You're
Well,
only in the second section of it, Dan.
I suppose.
I mean, there's later sections, so that's just at this current moment. That's all you found.
Okay.
Do you wish to continue further in this book?
Might as well. I'm gonna have to keep dealing with these crazy pricks.
Maybe, maybe not. The second thing, you get to the third thing, in which the elves actually managed to find other tribes of elves.
Ooh.
And it's labeled the Triad, in which the Solkaleth elves meet two other sort of societies of elves. And they form a larger society together. And sort of form the first nation state that they know of, at least. You do start to learn actually a lot more about the laws. At this point, magic has not shown up at all. They've gotten much closer to, like, what they call the Earth Mother. Other than that, there's no magic so far. You do read, however, that there is now rape laws, and there's laws against persecution. More laws do end up getting the death penalty. However, you also then end up reading about a new trial by combat.
Oh, well, that was an option.
As well as imprisonment as well.
Imprisonment. It's always fun.
Yeah, I want to learn about it.
As you then read about, as you get to the fourth section, you then start to see magic showing up. As the elves get closer to the earth as a society, you hear about the first person using magic to heal a wound. To then... Excuse me. To enhance a person's strength in the middle of a fight. You hear random occurrences of this happening. And at a certain point in this, they realize that the earth herself, excuse me, and nature around them has given them this power. That's what they kind of feel, because they can feel a connection more to this. And through this, they actually build a tower called they call the Tower of Soul. And it was built long ago. In terms of what you're reading, this is still much longer. It's a stone tower that reached into the heavens, and at the top was an open room of stone pillars. You actually recognize this description as the very same tower that you left at Solinar the day before.
Oh, well then.
And after this tower was built, there was a lethargy. The entire race of elves got sick.
It sounds more like a plague than a lethargy.
Well, they recognized it as a lethargy. They didn't recognize it as a plague.
That's not a noun.
Huh? That's how the book is describing. I'm not... That's how they wrote it down.
Okay.
It's their book, we can't argue.
Right.
It's like you've never been to the internet. Something's the best excuse to argue with someone.
The entire race of elves that far and wide from every corner of the known world suddenly starts feeling increasingly tired. As the years drone on, and this lasts for a very long time, there's, instead of it being one story, you're reading letters and everything else that are put into this book from people who are there and describe themselves as increasingly tired, unable to do certain things. Some sleep for almost days on end, and others just flat out die from being asleep far too long without nourishment. The entire go ahead.
Race called mono.
Essentially, yes. Like, if you really want to describe it in that fashion, but then suddenly this actually stops with a flash. The story after this goes back to its normal telling and describes the day the entire sky flashed white.
They end up saying anything about what caused it or how they fixed it. Most importantly.
It doesn't say that it ever got fixed, technically. It just says it flashed white for about 5 to 6 seconds. And now it's written down on their time measurements, and then went back to its normal color in the daytime.
I meant everyone trying to sleep.
No, the left after the flash happened. Roughly a few days later, their energy came back and everything came back into, just started going back to the way things were. They never fixed it; it just fixed on its own. From there, the society, sorry, go ahead.
It kind of left it there. Like, hey, a bunch of people died, and then the sky changed colors, and everyone got better, and they didn't do any more research.
Nope.
You do see other reports of them trying to investigate it, but there is no honest answer that they ever found.
All right.
In fact, if you want to be really curious, you also manage to see that they haven't even left the continent in this point. So ships were not invented yet. Nor had they really ever traveled northward beyond their territories. After this flash, however, you start to read more pages about newer kinds of magic showing up. Suddenly there are some people who aren't tied to the earth as much anymore, and they're suddenly creating fireballs or fireworks in their hands or creating mirror images of themselves.
Right, so they develop arcane magic.
Right. From here, the new laws actually get put into place. There's a little bit more magical law in terms of stopping people from killing each other using magical means, since magic is growing more powerful and popular.
Don't murder everybody.
It's just if you do use your powers for evil, it's more for a darker purpose. It's generally you have a choice of imprisonment or death, and it's either a life sentence or a death sentence. That's where that kind of comes into. Do you wish to stop for the day or keep going?
This is what, day 2 of a 9-day voyage?
Yes.
Fuck it, I keep going. Might as well, I can catch up on my sleep on the last few days.
Continuing forward, you read more about, at this point now, elves have left the north, have gone further north. They meet the humans, and the humans do show them a lot more about the arcane powers. And they mention a city across the water.
Across the water from where?
From the current continent they're on. And they mention a magical city where all these sorcerers are, and they call it Calvara.
Okay.
There are reports of elves going there and never coming back. Some elves do come back. And the ones who do come back say, it's a wonderful place, it just wasn't for me. It is the gist of sort of what it is. You see letters. At this point, make a search check.
Sure.
And as you're doing this search check, I'd want to ask, how much do you remember of when you came to this world?
Well, Zarshan would remember pretty well. It's kind of a traumatic event. Those things tend to stick. The whole, oops, I've been torn out of my entire plane of existence.
As you are flipping through this book, a page falls out.
Excellent. I catch it.
Make a reflex save on that. Yeah, I'm going to be that level of dick today.
That's different from...
Oh.
Some days I am, some days I'm not.
And we just get extra lucky on D&D, don't we?
Yes, you do. This is why you don't antagonize the GM, because the GM summons bad, nasty things to you. As he's doing this search check.
Reflex save, I thought you said.
Oh, sorry, the reflex save. You managed to catch the hell out of that paper.
Good, is it now a holy paper? Because I put the hell right out of it?
It is now a holy paper. You get +1 damage while holding it and reading it from the light.
Okay. That's amazing.
As you grab the paper and open it, you see a diagram, if you will. Not entirely, but kind of a serpent head slithering out of a wall into this sort of steel cylinder.
Okay.
With some swirl sort of drawn in the middle, and 2 cloaked figures on either side, statues, holding staves in each hand. And as you see this, you recognize the portal that you came out of.
Interesting. The same tool, or is it merely a similar one? Can I tell?
Roll a knowledge history check.
About not having
Well, if you don't have your accident, you're just rolling the D20 and praying for the best, aren't you?
I remember what they were. I have like a +6 in all the knowledge still.
You recognize that this is the exact same portal that you came out of. It does not give you a location of said portal. That one you do not remember.
Is where I showed up at.
Huh?
Well, presumably one end of it would be where I showed up at the first time.
Yeah, presumably. However, you also see under it a small magical device in there that has only one word, movement, and then it shows a world and then a circle. So it doesn't exactly explain it very well.
That sounds like it's implying it moves around the world. So
Yeah, I mean, that's what it implies, but you logically figured this out.
magic isn't science. I mean, you study it, and there's books and everything.
True.
It's science, right?
What does Zarson do after seeing this?
He starts plotting.
Plotting?
Yes. Zarson still wants to lay off of this crazy fucking plane and back home. He has a country to run.
It's true.
I mean, he was only a little exaggerating about that.
So, Tiffany, as he's doing this, what do you decide to do with your currently 2 days of on the ship?
My first day, I kind of explore around the ship.
Okay. Through the ship, you find normal quarters for people to sleep in. There's one that's actually done for you, and one for each of us. Danthelaine and Fia stay kind of in their room. Fia is not feeling all that well after her major transformation from last time. Relea is kind of doing laps around the ship in a way, happy to be free of her her elven form for a while. You managed to find the mess hall, the brig. You find a number of different things on the ship in itself. One small part where you see a bunch of sailors fighting, just for the sake of it. At one point, Austin actually comes, as you're watch the fights for a second, Austin says, I really shouldn't allow this to, but it helps them blow off a little bit of steam.
Lillian kind of shrugs. Oh, we all have our outlet. Who am I to judge?
Yeah. Although if I did stop this, I'd have to require a few more kegs of ale.
She just kind of chuckles at his remark. Awkwardly, because she's never really talked to him, so it's kind of awkward at the moment.
Then again, given your kobold and how he likes to drink, I'm guessing a few more kegs might not have been a bad idea.
Given how my whole party likes to drink.
Well, from what I've heard from the other stories, you like to take a few swigs yourself once in a while.
Only on my dark days.
Well, he says, and he pulls out a small flask of a sort of shimmering golden brown liquid. This one's kind of light, if you'd wish to share some with me.
Lillian kind of laughs. She's like, I'm flattered. However, I would prefer to explore about a little bit.
He nods, and just says, well, have a good day, my lady, and walks off. The ship itself, again, you see all the stuff you've seen before. It's a standard ship fare. And nothing too striking out of the ordinary. Your pet has joined you. No, never mind. He has not joined you. Forgot about that. We sent him away.
I was gonna say, no. It was gone a while back ago. I don't remember where he went, but I remember that he was gone.
Somewhere and he just wandered off.
Thank God. I forget. I think somebody scared him off or something.
Leia sent him away. At a certain point, the sort of curiosity of the diary takes hold of you.
Well, I was gonna see how long the exploring takes me, see if I can find a silent place and go read the diary.
Oh, you find a number of those. That's no problem. There are a number of those places that you find.
Mr. Eager over here to get me to read the diary.
I figured you would be anyway.
That's why I was exploring.
You managed to find a quiet spot and open it up, and a lot of the pages are faded to an extent. A lot of the ink has faded away. You'll pick a word out here or there, but you see a lot of these entries were done not technically as a diary per se, but you see that he was writing home, because in certain things you see, my dearest Selena on the top of it. So you see that he's writing home to his wife or his girlfriend. You don't exactly know what. And you especially find out that it was a girlfriend when the name on the top actually changes at one point. And you do read the sentence, disregard all the names before that, and just take this as, I could only afford the one book. But the first passage you come to starts about how he's in a cart being taken to the sort of northern front right on the eastern side of the continent, and they're going up the shoreline when suddenly they're attacked by a number of catapults in the war.
We are?
No. The story she's reading in the diary.
Dan was like, oh shit, what did I miss?
Yes, we have been attacked by catapults in water.
Ship-mounted siege weapons are a thing. It's like, I get up to use the bathroom for like 5 minutes, and now we're under attack. God damn it,
shit happens.
Off of that.
My cannonball.
I couldn't see the ground. Things just started going crazy. It was a hot damn mess.
The Doom Wagon became, a mounted, missile launcher, and just decided to...
You see what happened? I mean, I'd have taken the laptop with me, but no one wants to see that.
Nope,
No.
nope, nope.
So he reads the story. You're reading the story of how the cart that he's in with about 7 to 8 other guys
On YouTube.
is attacked by a number of catapults, and his regiment of battle mages manages to charge through the about 200 soldiers and destroy these catapults and open up a way through for the forces behind them. And how this battle, it was his sort of first combat and changed him in a lot of ways. He'd never killed a person actually before that day. And you could sort of almost read the fear in the words that you have. The next one you read is this time dated.
Still with the name on the top? Or is it more like a diary entry now?
The name is slightly faded, but you do see Dearest, and yeah. And you just see a blankness, like the words had faded, but you look at the depressions, and you see that Selena was the name for it. And you can see the date was about probably 7,000 years ago. Roughly. No, yeah. You know, a long, long time ago in Elven history. And you read how he ended up moving forward. The elves have been pushed back for a number of days, and they're actually, the city of Solinar had been taken, and a number of elven people were helping keep the city under human control, sort of co-conspirators in this regard. And he ended up having to kill his brother-in-law. And he can still feel the heat of the fireball that he summoned that burned him alive. And he doesn't like this anymore. I think he had to go.
Yeah.
Did.
Oh well. I will put up his picture. But on top of this, you then see that in the name, there you go. In the name list of names, sort of gives out the people who died. One of them had the last name Ramul, which you recognize as the High Councilman beforehand. Do you keep going in this?
Yeah.
A lot of the other entries are faded. You do end up reading throughout your travels, throughout the next day, actually. So this comes to day 3. You take a nap and take a break. And you eventually, a lot of them are, this battle happened, and this happened, and that happened. I met, you know, the next one you get to is a very happy one. You shared a drink with a couple of guys in a pub after he managed to push the humans back to the borderline. And he said that we're looking to push forward into Daggerfall the next day. And all the rest of the entries are kind of faded again. You pick out random words. One phrase keeps popping up at a certain point, though. I can't take this anymore. This is too much. And eventually, in one of the later entries, you see that the war has ended. You see that his writing is a bit sluggish. The handwriting that was crisp and clean in earlier pages has become much sloppier now. And then eventually you see in the end of the book at the end of the diary, a single entry that says, I fought so hard in this damn war for not only my country, but because my magic was useful. They will pay for what they're doing to us. And that's where it kind of ends. And then kind of like a stamp in the end, but not really. It was a page that was slipped in kind of and sealed into the book, looking a lot newer, is a kind of a newspaper clipping in a way. Not entirely, but something like that, of the day that they stabbed your father in the chest. Sorry, your great-great-grandfather in the chest. For attempting to murder the High Council, the head of the High Council in Solinar. That he sent a large fireball and a number of lightning storms at the tower, trying to destroy it. And that one day arcane magic would be the leading force in the city once again.
Lillian kind of like, even though it's the last page, it's going to be fairly simple to find. She still marks over the page that's talking about how they were paid. She'll fold a little bit, just slightly. Not very that noticeable, but, you know, noticeable enough. And she kind of just, you know, puts everything back in the book and just kind of closes it and is like, Kind of sits to herself, taking it all in.
What does Amaridia do in the last few days? In these last few days that we've spent on the ship?
Probably just hang out, talk to people, get to know as much as she can. I mean, she doesn't get a cool book to read. So...
She doesn't. Do you partake in the fighting games on the ship at all?
Sure. I'll toss over these skinny little elves.
Here's how we're gonna do this. You're in roll 20, right?
Yeah, I have it up.
Okay. It's basically just be D20 versus D20. You roll one, I roll one.
Mm-hmm.
Your first fight, as you get in, you hear one guy sort of announcing, and he's sort of the hype man for all this. And he goes, all right, we're, you know, once again, we're going for the biggest, baddest motherfucker on this ship.
Here comes the half-orc!
And we got a new little woman in town today. Who wants to be the one to take this one out? And he points back to you. And with this, you see a man raise his hand just barely above his head. Because that's all he can really do. He's a tall elf for his own stature. And he comes forward and his muscles are bulging. Probably about the most ripped elf you've ever seen in your life. He goes, I'll take her on.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you're going to roll a d20. I roll a d20. Whoever rolls highest wins this fight.
Yep.
Go ahead and roll.
Close.
You know what? We're going to do this by round. Never mind. So hold on. The first round, you managed to get some good hits in. You actually managed to do some damage on his cheek. You feel one of his ribs crack as you lay a punch into him. But he manages to take you to the ground and hold you in a chokehold for a bit. You manage to slip out just before the round ends. And as you stand up, You can feel the air being rushed out of you, being rushed back into your lungs now. And you're winded. You're real tired. But just as you barely get enough breaths in and enough time for a little bit of water, the ref calls you in for the second round. So go ahead and roll. This time, however, you manage to stagger him. Coming right out of the gate, you run forward, you punch him straight across the jaw. And he staggers and manages to keep fighting back. And you're just wailing blows on him, and he manages to fall to his knee. And you manage to get him get his arm between your legs and pull. Roll for submission.
What's the bonus for that?
Oh no, just roll a d20.
Okay.
You don't get the submission though. However, you roll. You know that you won that round, so you're tied 1 for 1 in the round. If you rolled a nat 20, you would have gotten a knockout, but you know that doesn't happen. And it's the last round now. Referee calls you in. You got much more wind under your sails. Go ahead and roll for this last round. If you don't win this, I swear to God.
I got an 18.
Okay. Wait, no, the 18 was your submission roll, wasn't it?
No, that was 10.
Oh, that's right, no. You managed coming right out of the gate, and you just wing an uppercut right to his chin, and he just flops straight to the ground. He's out cold. And you look around, everyone's kind of looking at you stunned. Even the hype man's kind of stunned at you. Like, holy shit. We have a winner! And he raises your hand. Anyone else? And one says, I think I can go 1 round with her. Okay, 1 round. You accept the fight?
Yeah.
Alright, let's do it. And he claps his hands and gets you ready for it.
Oh, fudge.
And you see this man. He's barely up to your chest, right?
Yeah, like most of the people here.
Yeah, most people there. You see this man basically run and jump for all it was worth and spin and slam a foot straight into the side of your head. And the last thing you see
Oh, come on. This should be a knockout.
is his sort of smile before you fall to the ground, staggered. And he just starts wailing fists on you. Just roll a d20 to see if he knocks you out.
Freak!
You are knocked out. You go to sleep. You almost managed to win, sort of toughest person on the ship, but not this time. However, when you wake up, you do hear that the person who beat you actually managed to win their little tournament.
Win what?
Their little tournament.
Meh.
So you wake up and there's a guy sort of putting ice on your face and easing to tending to the cuts on your head. Goes, hey, you put up a hell of a fight. That little man, though. That boy trained us the best ones. But hey, listen, if you ever want to learn a little bit more about physical combat like that, there's a guy up in Stoneforge, since we're heading there anyway. He trains striking. If you want to get in close range with your fists, he's the guy to help you out. Just ask for Stitch Durant. You'll be in a little part of town right near the barracks. He'll fix you up right. Just tell him Grunty sent you.
Who?
Grunty. Yeah, he'll know who you're talking about. You explore more on the ship. Every time you try and help out again, people send you, say, no, you're just here as a guest.
Wow. Let me help.
One person does let you kind of mop the floor in a little bit, but after that, you hear them getting yelled at, and the person goes, "I'm so sorry. He wasn't supposed to let you help at all." But then the captain comes down and says, "I have something for you," and he hands you a map of Stoneforge. This should help you guys out throughout the next few days, because from what I hear from the emissary, you're going to be there for a few, because the army's got to get together and there's training and everything else, so it's going to be a few days before they get there. We're right now about 4 days out, so we're kind of in a tough spot, but yeah. And he hands you the map of Stoneforge.
I get to studying it.
You see the city itself is more vertical than horizontal. You actually see that the city, like, when you look at the maps that he's given you, the large stack of them, I should say, you see different levels, some residential, some commercial. You see a whole bunch of things going straight down into the mountain. And in the middle of the city is a massive circular area around a forge. Lava's pouring down, and there is a railway system going around this forge. While on the outsides, depending on the level you're on, you'll see houses or businesses. On the top floor, you see the barracks and a number of large-scale businesses and everything else. And on the outskirts is the city, is the residency. But you see that the entire city is built straight into the mountain.
Dwarves expected.
Yeah. And on top of that, you see a harbor on one side of it. And as you're studying this map, it's about the 4th day. Suddenly you hear an alarm. A horn blares out in the middle of nowhere. You're, to posts! To posts! Both of you, all of us hear this. Okay.
Good.
And as we hear this, Danthelaine runs outside, obviously. I'm guessing Emeridia and Lillian do as well. And the whole party stands on the deck as suddenly we see 7 white ships blocking our way. To our right, behind us, a few ways back, we see a small port town. So we're north of the wall.
Oh, we're in human territory again.
Yeah.
Even in dwarf.
And the 7 white ships are in our way. And you see all of them with mastheads of lions and on a shield. Swords going behind it.
Doesn't mean anything.
You recognize it, Simona, as the masthead of Celadon City, the human capital. The 7 ships are incredibly well armed. You notice people running to cannons. You see horns blaring. You see people actually swinging between these ships. passing back and forth and everything else. But they have surrounded you.
What are ships from Telegon doing so far south?
What do you say?
So what are their ships doing so far south?
The captain looks at you. So far south? We're right almost near there.
No.
He looks at, why are we this close to Grundon City? And you hear the pilot, the pilot go, I steered us in the international waters. They shouldn't even be here. You're like, damn it. And then you see everyone make a spot check. That's actually a plus 12, so that's,
Oh, F.
for me, it's a...
I am blind.
You don't even see a ship. You see water. And you are floating above it.
I am in a dream because I have a concussion. There we go.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Lillian, you and I see some guy run to the side of the ship and pull out and sort of grasp at a small tube and drop something down it.
I look over at you like, did you just see that?
Yeah.
Huh?
And I turn to the captain. What the fuck is that? He's giving a message to our cover. If we stay calm, we should be fine.
There's no being calm about it. He just gave us away.
No, he didn't. Hopefully.
Let's go ask him.
When I say hopefully, I mean hopefully that they're still down there. And as you see this, one of the ships suddenly erupts. Right in front of us, one of the ships splits in half and explodes. Everyone manages to see this.
Yay! What?
Are you questioning why the ship's exploding?
You glitch. I can't understand.
Yeah, you're frozen on my end. Am I glitching to you, Tiffany?
No. Simona's the one who's out in this time. I can't see her camera.
Yeah, she's frozen. Turn your camera off and on real quick, Simona.
Okay. Off. And on. No.
I see a spiral beach ball. Can you hear me just fine?
Now I can. You were glitching a minute ago, but I can hear you just fine.
I'm thinking it was probably your camera.
I need to update my computer.
But one of the ships splits in half from an explosion and starts to sink. You hear people crying. You're yelling, you see people going to other ships, and then you see cannons start to get pulled out. And you hear the captain start to bark orders, and cannons start to fire. And it becomes chaos. As suddenly cannonballs are now whizzing past our heads from some directions. Then a second ship blows up. And our ship strikes the third one. Manages to knock out some of the guns. And then that ship blows up. And over the course of what is a 3-hour battle, every one of the ships around us is now lying in ruin. The people slowly trying to swim to something they can hold on to. And we're the last ship standing. Austin looks at you. See? I told you he wasn't giving us away. Like I said, he was alerting our cover.
Lillian just kind of shakes her head and is just like, someone must have given us away.
Then someone pops up. Aye, Missy. Someone, yes. But not us. And you see a dwarf standing there.
Oh, fuck.
And then
Does this dwarf look familiar?
the dwarf does not look familiar.
Oh,
However,
God.
as he says this, he sort of looks into his pouch and pulls out a small thing. All right, boys, come on up. We're clear.
She slowly starts to back away because she has the worst times ever with dwarves. She's at this point hiding behind her party.
Make a spot check, Lillian.
No! Fuck you, Steven. God! Out of all fucking times to fail spot! Jesus fucking Christ. I quit. I'm done. This is stupid. I'm leaving. Goodbye, guys. Forever.
You're not leaving and you know it. You just hate the dice.
Damn it. Out of all fucking times to fail.
I will remind you that you have now 3 reroll tokens should you want to reroll this one.
Oh, what a convenient time. I just remembered I have reroll tokens. I would like to reroll this, Steven.
Go ahead. I completely forgot last week, but hey, I'm just gonna go with it.
Watch me get a 1 again, guys.
If you get 2
wait,
ones
on
in a
my
row, I will laugh.
I will waste all my fucking rerolls on this fucking shit right here.
You managed to see around your party as about 9 small things burst up from the water.
Small things, dwarfs or ships or...
They're small. They're not small. They're larger than dwarves, much larger than dwarves. But you see 9 smallish ships is the only way to describe it, burst up from the water, surrounding us in a circle pattern. These little bastards didn't know what hit them when my submarine could have got to them, did they? We're here to escort you all the way to Stoneforge. Which, by the way, I don't know why he told me to do this. But someone, I don't know who, said he's very glad you're returning.
No. That's all she says as she's like behind her party.
He specifically said Lillian. I don't
No.
Which one is that?
It's this tall guy that I'm standing next to. She points to Danteline.
I'm pretty sure he said that she has the most wonderful eyes ever. So if he said she, that ain't him.
That's a she. That's...
I look at you. Better not be pointing at me.
No, never.
I look. That's her right there.
She's glaring at you. Where's Allison when I need her?
He then says, I was told to give you a kiss, but I don't know if I can do that.
I will kill you.
Got it! Message delivered. Okay. Then he dives in the water and Austin looks at you. Do I have competition?
God. She just shakes her head and turns away from the party.
And that's where we're going to end it since we're losing everybody. We're not going to be playing next week. I will have things I'm doing, and your husband's shirtless. I think, maybe not. Yeah. At least he's actually got pants on.
Hey, at least he works
Yeah.
out. So
You don't need the dancing panda again.
they said that he said, and your husband's shirtless. I said it happens, and then he said, well, at least he has pants on. I was like, well, at least he works out.
Pants are only on momentarily.
Momentarily. Well, I don't think you want YouTube to see your butt.
I don't care.
That is a true
Well,
statement.
Well, that I'm sure you. Well, one more time for you guys in the house.
Show more than my butt.
No, we don't have our we don't have our things
Yeah.
anymore.
My camera.
Everything's gone.
I mean, yeah, just. Anyway, for all of us, the D20 Brigade, Dan couldn't be here, Ali couldn't be here, and Tiffany and Simone here. I wish you good luck and happy gaming.
Bye.